The WTA didn't expect this. Alex Eala sparks Stuttgart frenzy as ticket prices surge and a nation gets ready to descend on Germany. Let me tell you something about women's tennis right now. Something that has tournament officials scrambling, ticket resellers watching numbers climb, and millions of Filipino fans refreshing draw sheets in the middle of the night. The WTA thought it understood how the sports ecosystem worked. Rankings rise and fall, star names draw crowds, and events run like clockwork. Orderly. Logical. Predictable. Then Alex Eala arrived, and long-held assumptions started flying out the windows of the Porsche Arena in Stuttgart. Welcome back to Court Vision Media, where the elegance of elite tennis collides with real, unfiltered passion. If you're not subscribed yet, you're missing out on the sport's most compelling stories. Tap subscribe, switch on notifications, and let everyone know this is your go-to spot for tennis inside access. Here's the setting. The Porsche Tennis Grand Prix, a premier WTA 500 with nearly 5 decades of history, past champions like Martina Navratilova, Steffi Graf, and Maria Sharapova. A stacked field, elite clay preparation before Roland Garros, and a tradition where the champion drives away in a Porsche 911 along with a 6-figure prize. This is blue-chip European tennis at its finest. When Qin Wenjing withdrew with injury, the alternate list pointed to one name, Alexandra Eala. Ranked 46. 20 years old. Filipino. And the instant that update went live, Stuttgart stepped into the same reality Indian Wells and Linz had already experienced. When Eala enters a draw, normal ticket logic stops applying. The tournament announcement was calm and procedural. Alexandra Eala replaces Qin Wenjing in the main draw. Professional. Neutral. Routine. But for Filipino fans across continents, those words meant mobilize immediately. Because this has never been about rankings. Eala's 2026 season has blended performance and momentum in a way that quietly built one of the most compelling narratives in women's tennis. She didn't receive a wild card. She didn't arrive through favors. She earned her place through the alternate list after a steady climb through difficult draws against experienced opposition. Every step forward came from match wins, not marketing. Days before Stuttgart, she had fallen in a tight battle to Jelena Ostapenko in Linz. No excuses. No complaints about the surface switch. She packed up and flew to Germany within 48 hours because opportunity in tennis does not wait. Then the door opened. She entered a field featuring Aryna Sabalenka, Iga Swiatek, Coco Gauff, and Elena Rybakina. Her first opponent, Leylah Fernandez. And suddenly, this wasn't just a first-round match. Fernandez, of Filipino-Canadian heritage, facing Eala, representing the Philippines directly. Two left-handers. Two stories tied to Filipino identity meeting on German clay.
Ang Filipino-Canadian na si Leylah Fernandez ang makakalaban ni Alex Eala sa unang round ng Porsche Tennis Grand Prix sa Stuttgart, Germany. Number 25 si Fernandez.
The storyline required no embellishment. Now comes the commercial tremor. Tennis economics says higher rankings equal higher demand. A top 10 withdrawal replaced by a number 46 should soften interest. That logic has repeatedly collapsed wherever Eala plays. At Indian Wells, resale prices for her sessions surged dramatically within hours of draw confirmations. In Linz, reports suggested overwhelming Filipino fan presence during her matches, turning midweek sessions into electric atmospheres. The pattern is clear. Her name activates a global, organized, passionate support network at remarkable speed. Stuttgart's timeline is tight. Announcement. Draw release. Opening weekend within days. But history shows that is more than enough time for Filipino communities across Europe to coordinate travel, secure seats, and show up in numbers. What makes this remarkable is the context. The Stuttgart field is filled with some of the biggest stars in the sport. Yet among a specific and highly committed fan base, Eala's presence drives a different kind of demand that rankings alone cannot explain. Rankings measure results. They do not measure cultural pull. Brands appear to have recognized this early. Support and endorsement interest around Eala has grown in step with her momentum, reflecting belief not only in her tennis but in the connection she holds with fans. Commercial ecosystems move quickly when they sense long-term value. The Fernandez matchup adds another layer. Fernandez's memorable 2021 U.S. Open run made her a global favorite. Now she meets Eala in a match that resonates far beyond tactics. Lefty versus lefty on clay is intriguing technically, but the emotional weight for Filipino fans worldwide is just as significant. Whatever the result, engagement is guaranteed. The Porsche Tennis Grand Prix may have framed its announcement politely, but fans read those words as a signal. Time to act. Time to travel. Time to fill the Porsche Arena with flags, voices, and unmistakable support. Zoom out, and Stuttgart sits at the start of the European clay stretch, Madrid, Rome, then Roland Garros. Regions with large Filipino diaspora communities. If the pattern continues, the implications extend beyond one tournament into how events think about attendance, scheduling, and market dynamics. The WTA ranking system is precise in measuring performance. What it was never built to measure is how a player ranked outside the top 30 can, in specific markets, generate star-level commercial energy. That gap between ranking and market impact is where the Eala story lives in 2026. Stuttgart's visibility makes it harder to overlook. At 20 years old, Eala carries something rare in sport, the hopes of a nation discovering itself on a stage it has long watched from afar. Fans showing up are not only supporting a player. They are celebrating representation. The match against Fernandez is set. The clay is ready. Travel plans are being finalized. Ticket confirmations are lighting up phones across Europe. Will Stuttgart feel like Manila when Eala walks onto court? Recent history suggests the atmosphere will be unforgettable. And as Madrid, Rome, and Roland Garros approach, this may be only the beginning of what the clay season reveals about the growing connection between one young player and a global fan movement. If you've been following Court Vision Media all season, you saw this building from Indian Wells to Linz and now to Stuttgart. Drop your prediction in the comments. Does Eala get past Fernandez? Does the Porsche Arena become the loudest stop of the week? And if you're not subscribed to Court Vision Media yet, now is the time. Hit subscribe, turn on notifications, and like this video, because the European clay swing is just getting started, and we're covering every moment of it.
I would love to play mixed doubles, of course, with Novak or Alcaraz, and I think Joao Fonseca is also a good